It is August 19th, 2011, and this is a Infowars.com breaking news report on this Friday evening. I was contacted a little over a month ago by Robert Morrow, a Princeton graduate, three-time delegate for the Republican Party in the state of Texas, a month ago or so. And he said, listen, I've got a lot of contacts, a lot of witnesses, people that have been involved in different type of sexual escapades with Rick Perry. And I didn't call him back, but I started doing my research. I'd heard the name, I'd met him before, and it turns out that most of the libertarian and conservative activists that I know vouch for Robert, that he's a stand-up guy and they've known him for many, many years. Still, I don't get into sexual issues. I'm going after Rick Perry for being Al Gore's former chief of staff in Texas in his presidential campaign in '88. We're supporting all sorts of amnesty moves for illegal aliens, or forced inoculations for little girls, or NAFTA superhighways. And I said, look, I'm not going to break this information. Well, then, lo and behold, he put a full-page ad in the Austin Chronicle that has now gotten national attention. Thousands of newspapers are reporting on this. Have you ever had sex with Rick Perry? And he has his phone number, his email on the article, and he says he's gotten even more contacts since this first ran yesterday. Now, the Perry campaign has responded, and they are striking back, trying to attack Ron Paul, who Rick Perry is trying to become, with his calls to basically go after the Fed for treason. They're trying to say that this is some type of Ron Paul dirty trick. Well, Ron Paul came out today on Fox News and said, no, this is all just silly. So to sort all of this out, we are joined by Robert Morrow, the man of the hour, to tell us about himself and why he's running this ad, and what evidence he has that indeed Rick Perry is gallivanting around, being a hypocrite, telling us that he has all these Christian values. I should add that it's also coming out in newspapers across the country that Rick Perry is an investor in a chain of porno movie outlets. That's all over mainstream news, and the religious right is running an attack ad against him for that. And I did confirm in the Texas Ethics Commission filings that Rick Perry reportedly did go in Florida to a male drag queen strip club to see some type of event, and there's reports on that going back 2 years. So we're going to talk about it all. Where there's smoke, is there fire? I mean, I've heard these rumors for many, many years. Robert Morrow, tell us about yourself, and then why you're doing this.
Well, Alex, I'm a local political activist here in Texas. I'm a three-time delegate to the Texas State Republican Convention, 2006, 2008, and 2010. I have voted for Rick Perry in the past, 1998, 2002, 2006. What it boils down to is this, is that Rick Perry is a man who campaigns on Christian values. He uses Bible buzzwords for political gain. He appears on stage in Houston with all these preachers, extremist preachers, yet he's living a double life. And the reason I know that, Alex, is because Rick Perry, his enabling entourage, and I like the same women.
Well, that's quite a charge. And again, I'm going to be honest with you, Robert. You wouldn't even be here right now if a lot of people I know vouched for you and said you're a stand-up guy. They've known you for many, many years. Some of them a decade. People I've known for over a decade. And I'm not saying, oh, you're lucky to be here. I'm saying I wouldn't have you here if a lot of people that I know and trust say, well, you're a stand-up guy. So that means two things are happening. Either all these people that are telling you this information are lying to you, or they're telling the truth. And either way, this is dangerous. So let's get into the allegations.
Okay. The reason they're credible is because there are multiple allegations. I met a stripper a couple of years ago. She said, I was working on stage at a club, and a man comes up to me, and he says, here's $500. That's just for starters, come with me. Because that's about what a dancer might make in a whole night with table dances and tips like that. She said, sure, I'll do it. And so she got into her regular clothes. and she was delivered to Rick Perry. And when she got to Rick Perry, she told me, this is about a couple of years ago before the 2010 gubernatorial race, she said that she and Rick Perry started fooling around, and she was trying to give him a Monica Lewinsky. I think it was oral sex, I think. And her words to me were, I think he was too coked up to get it up, okay? After they had been playing around for a while and it was time for her to go, Rick Perry paid her an outrageous sum of money, well into the 4 digits. Rick Perry is not a rich man. He's only worth $1 million or $2, $1 or $2 million. That's not a lot of money compared to who he runs around with. It makes me think that Rick Perry is taking bribes and illegal gifts from his entourage to fund his extracurricular activities. And that was just one lady.
Well, that's one source. Before you went public with all of this and contacted me a month ago, you say you were contacted by high-end escorts as well.
I know other women in town, strippers, young hotties, some escorts, and another lady. This is what blew me away when I heard from another lady who's had direct dealings with Rick Perry's entourage, and she told me that this man told her that when Rick Perry goes on the road, he gets the, quote, young hotties. Hence I use the phrase young hotties in my ad. And he told her, he says that they take these young women and they go back to Rick Perry's hotel room, and they're literally having orgies and group sex in the hotel room. Perhaps like maybe Rick Perry is, having sex with a woman on a sofa, and his friend is having sex with another young hottie on a bed. So that was 2. Now the second person who told me this is very credible. She's educated. She knows her way around the world politically here in Austin. She's not some sort of, 17-year-old runaway on drugs or something. She's somebody who runs with the elite of Austin, Texas. So that was the second source on that. So after I heard that, I said, it's confirmed. Rick Perry is obviously being flagrantly adulterous. His entourage is, procuring strippers for him, renting the hotel rooms, calling the escort services. Then recently, this week, yet another young lady who's friends with yet another popular Austin longtime escort said that, yeah, this lady, her friend, had a tryst with Rick Perry in one of the nicer hotels in Austin, Texas. So that's 3 right there. And I've been unable to get these people to go public for obvious reasons, trying to get a stripper or an escort or a closeted gay man to go public is very difficult for obvious reasons, hence my ad. So I took out this ad, have you ever had sex with Rick Perry, as a plea to the greater community to quit covering for Rick Perry, this, Christian buzzword spouting hypocrite who's leading a double life.
Well, I've got to say, Robert, that we've seen what's happened with the New York governor who passed a law to take the property away from men that hired prostitutes and throw them under the jail while he was visiting high-end prostitutes. We've seen all these Republican leaders caught in bathrooms and going after their pages. We know about Bohemian Grove. And so doing my research, I know to get into the upper echelons of the Republican Party especially, they don't feel comfortable around you unless you've done some things that they can use against you. And the main way to enter the upper echelons of the Republican Party is homosexual sex. That's what goes on at Skull and Bones at Yale. That's what goes on at the same time at Bohemian Grove. So I know that stuff goes on. Again, I mainly stick with issues that I can prove. And we've all heard these rumors living in Austin. I mean, there's been newscasts about the rumors of Rick Perry. And I would completely still ignore all of this if he wasn't out there saying, I'm a Christian conservative leader, you need to get behind me, and then knowing that he's actually the opposite in his real policies. And even in the last election cycle for governor, conservative groups did actually discover his bankrolling of porno parlors across Texas, and that's now a big issue again. And then when I first saw this, I didn't believe it, and I went and found it on the State Ethics Commission website. It is true that when he was in Florida, in a famously alternative lifestyle area, and I want you to talk about that, he visited the La Te Da men in drag cabaret. And he later said, well, no, that my wife visited that. Yeah, right. So it just continues to crop up. And so because it was Christian conservatives that have gone after him in the last few campaigns over some of these reports, he's now trying to become that. And I saw Ron Paul supporters really getting after him at events in the last few years. So now he's trying to become Ron Paul. He is a political chameleon. And so the question comes down to, is this some elaborate hoax where people are lying to you? Are you lying, which people that know you say you're not? Or is this a dirty trick of disinformation? Or is it true? But what do you say about the porno parlor bankrolling and the transvestite visiting?
Okay. Well, Alex, as you know, you and I living here in Austin, Texas, the rumors of Rick Perry's homosexuality and gay affairs have been voluminous, intense, and they will just not go away.
Well, when you type Rick Perry into Google for years, gay comes up.
Yeah, and there's
the first thing.
Yeah, there is so much smoke that it makes you think it has to be fire. And I want to tell you something, Alex. I never believed the gay rumors on Rick Perry for years and years and years, and then I certainly didn't believe them when I found out about all these strippers and escorts that he and his entourage are cavorting with. That has changed. I've come into credible information that Rick Perry is a rampant bisexual adulterer, not just strippers and young hotties, but gay men as well. Because on this Monday, before I even ran this ad, an incensed homosexual man contacted me, and he says, you know what? After seeing Rick Perry on that stage in Houston, with all those extremist preachers, all that, hardcore anti-gay rhetoric, I just can't take it anymore. He said that an ex of his ex had sex with Rick Perry, a gay fling, many years before he became governor, and that he wants to take this guy public, and that he and his friend are going to approach this man who had sex with Rick Perry, according to them, and get him to go public. And I said, well, what I did was I gave him to a reporter who is working the gay angle on Rick Perry, and he's having some progress, by the way. And so maybe eventually, in a few months, after these reporters work these stories, nail down those sources, we will move beyond the hearsay stage on Rick Perry as rampant bisexual adulterer to the credibility stage with people coming forward. So the whole point of me running that ad is, folks, there's so much stuff out there on Rick Perry. If you've had been involved with him sexually at all, or you know people who have, please come forward and let's go on the record and get it above board. The people need to know.
Infowars.com for 16 years has led the charge against the technocrats. We have had unrivaled success in unlocking minds, expanding paradigms, and rallying the people to face the New World Order. No one can deny that our media operation is the tip of the spear, and it's because of our success that we have a responsibility to intensify our operations against the globalist 110%. We're only a month away from launching a weeknight news broadcast. The social network is nearing completion as well. The free newsletter is reaching hundreds of thousands. Please spread the word about Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Sign up at the top of Infowars.com for the free Infowars Insider email with exclusive video and text reports as well as breaking news. Look in the mirror. You are the resistance. It is up to us, the Info Warriors, to take the initiative and to defeat the globalist.